I work in a school and there's a lot of issues that are definitely going on. And for me, I've been seeing a lot of those issues being portrayed not only on the students, but also on the teachers. But I wanted to go through some issues that I have seen, but also what the internet is telling me the main problems or dilemmas that schools, teachers, and students are seeing. So let's go over some of them that online see. So the first one that I believe is the biggest issue, no matter which way you look at it, is irrelevance. Students do not know how to apply what they're using, whether that be math, science, social studies, into the real world. Now, I don't think it is necessarily on them to take that and put it into like a relevant thing for them. I think that's on the curriculum that we should use, the style, the teacher, just kind of everything as a whole in our system. And I'm just not seeing the relevance. Like today, I sat in a math class and we're talking about it's algebra that we're going through, and it's these equations that have to do with a circle. Now, I like the diagram, and especially if you're an engineer, this would be great to learn anything that which you're building or using for certain map making and etc. There's a lot of things you can use it for. But a kid doesn't know that. You're not teaching them how to use it in that situation. You're giving them a problem and they figure out that solution with the method that you have given. Now, I know the kid has to know what they are supposed to do. I'm not saying they should just freeball it and find their own method or way of doing it, but there has to be a little bit of that involved. They have to associate that individually to themselves. And now I'm looking at this one right here, in which schools say that rigid structure, like the rigid structure of school, does kind of minimize creativity. I mean, they hop from class to class to class, and it tends to be a certain structure that that class is in, not very individual for that certain person. It's more for the broadness of the student, which is okay. I think it's hard to teach every kid individually. That's why we have certain parents, counselors, and other things that are inside the school. But it just seems like creativity is so lacking. And no one really wants to focus on that. It's more about learning these structured methods of science, math, algebra, or anything you want to talk about, social studies, just anything that's in there. And there's just no creativity involved. And now, this is my biggest issue, is electronics. Now, I know electronics are super beneficial for students. So much easier for teachers. It's just easier to broaden and give materials and certain things to the student and help them learn in a faster, more easy method. It's just more comfortable for the teacher. However, kids do not pay attention. And I know this is so individual. Certain students are not. They have different lives outside of school. They have different ways in which they can learn. But I don't want to sound like a boomer, but the school that I am currently working for, students just don't want to pay attention if they have an iPad in front of them because they have the internet. They have this broadened thing in which they can watch Roblox, they can look up TikTok, they can just scroll and look up this brain rot that is on there. And I don't know the true term of brain rot, but that's what I'm seeing. It just seems like they're using this tool for something else. And of course, they're kids. They don't really understand the premise of what the iPad is. They don't understand what is necessarily doing with their mind because they don't fully understand themselves. Now, with that said, iPads, computers, these online methods such as IXL, Schoology, and the ways you can spread out information, it's great that we're able to make them. It's great that we're able to get that and accessibilize and make it accessible for all these students, whether they're virtual or in person. And all I'm saying is with everything that is combined, whether that be the lack of creativity or the relevance to the outside world, or even the amount of electronics and certain methods to spread information, they'd be tying down to one thing. And to me, it's what is this for? Not just the relevance of that it's outdated or not necessary for a job that they're doing, but what is school for? Not the class, not the material, not the method, not the necessarily certain typical thing in a classroom, but what is school for? Well, it's to learn. Okay, what is it to learn? These certain basic structures that we have given and that have been like that have been basic or the premise for so long. But I think they're losing a point. When I left high school, I thought it was dead set in my career. And the further you grow, the further I grew, the more I realized that I don't really know. I wasn't really prepared after school. I had the individual personality to be more vocal and to try new things and be, um, how do you call it, extroverted in just a certain tent. And I'm talking about individual extrinsic factors that we tend to build up, or intrinsic, I should say. But we're losing. I don't know if we're losing, but we're not gaining this insight on what it is about life. The kids just don't really know why they are here. And I don't know either. I just don't really know how to, I don't really know how to spread this to a kid, because I can talk to them. And for example, we were talking about what is wrong with school, and a lot of kids would just say, teachers, this homework, they don't like who I am. I don't trust them. And of course they're not going to trust them. They see everything that's happening in this world, and they see the system as being not correct. And I think they're right. They're seeing shootings on the street. They're seeing wars. They're seeing famine. They're seeing people living on the streets. They see bad things all over the place. And there's good that they see too. But the way that they perceive it, it just seems like it's a failure, and that the system is a failure, and that it will continue to be a failure. So why should they rely on it? And this is not every student, because the majority that I talk to are kids that may need more help. They may need some disciplinary measures, or maybe are just struggling with attendance or just grades in general. But a lot of them, actually, I should say most of them, just don't understand why school is a thing and why the system is set out that way. Now, I feel what I feel. I mean, this is just what I feel. And I feel like what I'm saying is maybe not totally accurate. And that's why I'm putting this on YouTube, because I want to be vulnerable like this. I want to understand other ways that we can enhance the school system, the ways that I can better understand my own students, and the ways that we can better kind of not just educate, but teach, not just educate about certain topics, but spread what the meaning of their life is, the purpose that they want to grow, these ideals and values and beliefs that they want to use to better further their life. And I could just be spewing things that had nonsense, but isn't that the point of everything? Is that we can have our own opinion and expression to say what we want, but also for this one, I'm confused. I'm confused on how we can change this. I'm confused on how we can enhance the school system. I'm not saying it's failing us, but it's lacking. It's irrelevant for a lot of things. Teachers are getting burned out. The things that we're teaching tend to be outdated, and creativity just is diminished. So what do you think? Do you think the school system needs to change? How can we change this? What is wrong with school? And what can you do to better enhance our system?